Oh, hello, this is Tak Chung from Wok with Tak. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. Feel free to write to me at wokwithtak@gmail.com if you have any question regarding to this video or any other videos that I've posted in the past. There's a term referred to as Wok Hei. The term is actually can be translated simply as the wok and also the spirit or the breath of the wok. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate to you how to achieve Wok Hei by using a specific example. This is also a good way to show you what type of dish that you can cook to achieve this quality. Now, many people think that you need to use a specific type of wok, such as a carbon steel wok. But my response to that is not necessary to be true. The important is that how you cook the ingredients. And also, somebody said you need to have a lot of heat. Again, I'm going to demonstrate to you that it's really not necessary. All you have to be able to do is to properly control the heat. And if you get the heat right, you will achieve Wok Hei. In this case, I'm going to demonstrate cooking this dish using my Cuisinart 14-inch stainless steel wok. And I cook on a flat-top electric stove. For this dish, it is a Chow Mein. A Chow Mein frequently referred to as the Cantonese style. Now, the Cantonese style Chow Mein is frequently is a good example of how Wok Hei is being achieved, and also it demonstrates what the quality of Wok Hei is really means. Now, the Cantonese style Chow Mein has one distinct feature is that the noodles are slightly fried, and it gives the noodles a nice crispy texture. In fact, some part of the noodles will be charred or burnt, and the end result is that it gives the noodles a nice smoky flavor. And this smoky flavor is prized in the case of Wok Hei, and this is also make Cantonese stir-fry well known. It's because of the char texture. It creates a interesting contrast between the soft and the crispy portion of the noodles, and it also gives the noodles a very nice aroma. Now, as you can see in here, what I'm doing is that I actually frying the noodles. You can see here, the noodles actually in here has a very nice browning. This is frequently an important characteristics of Wok Hei. Now, to achieve this is that I cook the noodles first, and then I put them in the refrigerator. I let the noodles to dry out for about maybe 48 hours. This will prevent the noodles from sticking to the bottom of the wok when I fry them. Now, the traditional dish using a Cantonese egg noodles, but you don't have to, because the goal is to able to fry it, and you can fry any noodles that you would like. Now, in this case, I actually choose a fettuccine pasta noodles, and one of the reasons is that the fettuccine pasta noodles have a thicker noodle thread, and the end result is that it is more easy for you to cause charring. And the end result is that it greatly enhances the characteristics of this dish. So this is the first step in achieve Wok Hei, that you have a noodle that is nicely charred and creates a crispy texture. And it also have that slight smoky flavor because of the charring. For beginners, when they think of stir frying, is that you put everything all in the wok at the same time. But actually, that is not the case at all. You put your food ingredients at different time point. And here is a demonstration is that how you stir fry different ingredients separately to create the texture that you want. Now, the second part of this noodles is a broccoli and mushroom. And this broccoli and mushroom is cooked in a way, again, to achieve the charring that you are looking for. So, in here, I put the broccoli into the wok with relatively small amount of oil. And this will allow the temperature of the wok to get as high as possible. And the end result is that the direct heat of the surface of the wok coming into contact of the broccoli will cause the broccoli to char and burn slightly. Now, you have to carefully control this, because otherwise you might burn the broccoli more than you would like, and that might cause bitterness. So this is where the heat control is very important. You want the wok to be as hot as possible, but you also want to make sure that it's not too hot. So you can either control it by adjusting the heat or by adding more oil. Here, the temperature of the cooking process is really important because an important chemical reaction known as the Maillard reaction. In this chemical reaction, the food ingredient has to be over 275 degrees Fahrenheit in order for the chemical reaction to take place, which will convert molecules on the surface of the food ingredients into flavor molecule, and that's why we enjoy food that are cooked in high temperature. So in this case, it is important for you to constantly monitor the level of your heat. You want to make sure that it is not overheated, but you also want to make sure that it is properly heated. When cooking the vegetable, there are two parts of the cooking process. You cook it in high temperature, as I mentioned earlier, because the high temperature is necessary for the Maillard reaction to take place, and also to cause caramelization and charring on the surface of the food ingredients. But at the same time, a vegetable will be only softened if you have moisture. So at the second phase, which I'm going to season the dish at the same time, I'm going to add some oyster sauce. I'm only going to add a small amount of oyster sauce because I want the natural flavor of the ingredients to be better represented. Now, oyster sauce is a great sauce to use because it has a very broad universal flavor approach. It will enhance the umami flavor of the food ingredients without overwhelming it. After a quick taste test, I decided I'm going to add a little bit more oyster sauce to achieve the flavor that I want. Now, as you notice that right now, the vegetable is just cooked perfectly. It is nice and crisp, but it's also have the softness to the stem, and so you do not find it to be too crunchy. Here you have a lot of possibilities to make adjustment to create the texture that you want. The texture of the vegetable plays absolutely an essential role in create wok hei. You want it to have some charring, and you want to have that smoky flavor, but you also do not want it to be too crisp. Now we come to the final stage of this cooking process. As you can see that this dish actually are divided into 3 steps. The last step is the chicken. A chicken is similar to all other proteins that use in stir frying. Is that you want the chicken to be seared. Searing the chicken play a really important role. And this is the part that where the heat of the stove play a very important role. Because without proper heating, the chicken will not be seared properly. And in order to sear the chicken, you must allow the chicken to sit on the surface of the wok for a little bit, and this will causing the browning. Now, the most important thing in searing the chicken is that the chicken has to be as dry as possible, because any moisture that you introduce to the chicken will lower the temperature. And in this case, you also need to make sure you don't have too much chicken on the surface of the wok. So you want to spread them out as much as possible. Another important consideration is that you can enhance the charring and caramelization of the chicken by coating the chicken with cornstarch and with a little bit of sugar. And as you can see in here, now the chicken actually is really nicely seared. It creates that texture that make the chicken taste great. And this is also make the chicken have that flavor which is associated with wok hei. And this is where timing is really critical. So the next step is that the chicken is pretty much seared the way how I want it to be, but I also do not want to overcook it. At this point, I add a small amount of water from a squeeze bottle. I squeeze the water directly to the surface of the wok, where some of the chicken has stuck and burned to the surface of the wok. As you can see, the steaming process clears the wok really well. But this also has an important function, and this returns the flavor back to the dish. I'm going to season the dish with a teriyaki flavor, which is a combination of oyster sauce, hoisin sauce, as well with the dark soy sauce. This is a very simple and straightforward method for making a teriyaki flavor chicken. By this point, you should turn down the heat because the chicken is pretty much cooked and you don't want to overcook the chicken. This turned out to be really an excellent method to make a teriyaki chicken. As you can see, I constantly add a bit more water to make sure that I remove whatever that might stick to the surface of the wok to return the flavor back to the dish. And I also to create the sauce that I want. And then after I did some taste testing, I add some additional sugar. And in this case, it will achieve the flavor that I'm looking for. Now the dish is done. I'm going to lay the chicken right on top of the broccoli. Now, this dish has all the necessary criteria to define what wok hei is. Well, first and foremost, it's because all the ingredients are cooked separately. They all achieve certain level of charring, and also they have a crispy texture that associate with it. And this makes the dish have that flavor which that will provide you with that intensity, as well as the texture to achieve a great flavor dish. Now, this as a clear demonstration is that stir frying has many possibilities, and by cooking it in different way, by organize your ingredients and cook them under different setting, different temperature, you can create truly an amazing dish. And this is a demonstration of how cooking all the ingredients separately will able to achieve this goal. So with my fast cooking system that is flavor chasing, advanced prepping, stir frying, and tempeh-based cooking, with flavor chasing as the most important aspect, it will provide you an opportunity to constantly fine-tune and improve the flavor of your dish. And this is what home cooking is all about, to create flavor exactly how you like it. And when you achieve this, you will find that you will become your own very best chef. You will not want to have anybody else to cook for you, and this is when home cooking becomes sustainable. So keep on cooking, and I will see you tomorrow.